to deal with how strangers park their cars outside your house without even asking for permission is probably one of the most annoying things ever. Not only do they take your spot on the street, but also leave without letting anybody know what time they'll be back to pick up their cars. In some cases, space invaders leave their cars not only for hours but for days, and homeowners get forced to find a way to cope with that problem. Most of the time nothing happens, but this clearly isn't the case for the man of our story. A 37-year-old man from Liverpool, England named Neil Jungles got tired of having to see how strangers did what they wanted and parked their cars outside his home. So one day when a couple parked their car outside his place while he was making dinner for his daughter, he decided to take matters into his own hands and did what many other frustrated homeowners would have wanted to do. As Mr. Jungles tells us, it all happened on a Tuesday evening. He was at home enjoying some quality time with his child when all of a sudden a silver chrome Skoda arrived and parked just in front of his place. At first, he did nothing but watch. He saw how a woman stepped out of the car and got into a cab. Followed by that, a man carrying 2 suitcases also stepped out of the car and boarded the taxi. Once accommodated, they both left. It was at that moment Mr. Jungles knew they were leaving their car here to go to the airport and not having to pay some parking lot fee. So how was he so sure that the couple was actually going to the airport? Well, the mere fact that they were carrying 2 suitcases was probably more than enough. But the truth is, Mr. Jungles deducted the couple was leaving town by plane because the Liverpool John Lennon Airport was located roughly 2 miles away from his place. And he was right, as it took the couple many days to come back and pick up their car. Of course, what they didn't know was they were going to get a surprise once they got back from their trip. Mr. Jungles, who's said to be an employee of Costco, decided to go there and buy an industrial roll of cling film. You know, the kind of plastic wrap used for sealing food items in containers. He went back home and started to wrap the entire exterior of the car with it. By the time he was done, the car started to attract a lot of attention. So much so that even the police paid Mr. Jungles a visit to ask why there was a wrapped vehicle outside his home. The 36-year-old man at the time explained to the police officers the situation and told them he felt frustrated, mainly because the inconsiderate couple's actions had left him with no choice but to look for somewhere else to park his car. Police officers understood and tried to see if there was some way they could help, but given that the car wasn't parked illegally, there was nothing they could do. And unfortunately, they were right. The couple was committing a parking offense, but it wasn't enough to do something about it. However, what Mr. Jungles had done wasn't illegal either, as he didn't damage their property. So in the end, media paid attention and told his story. We don't know how long it took the inconsiderate couple to come back from their trip, but they sure were surprised when they found their car completely wrapped in cling film. Now they'll think twice before trying to park their car in someone else's space. So tell us, what would you do if someone left their car in front of your house for days?